I can't kill anyone says, I just realized there's a ton of map symbols now. Yep, and what I'm actually going to do before I forget. So our spare car is around here somewhere. I think it's like right around here. But yeah. No, you didn't. I doubt you upset I went anywhere. Dr. Bubbles is mostly getting ahead of that just because then it's going to get into a whole political thing. Sentient Cookie. Spoiled Rimworld colonist noises. Baby want neurocharge. Oh, techno-humanist colonists. Like, baby want neurocharge. Baby want age reduction. Baby want cybernet augmented body. Baby want out of weak human flesh cell. Like, the techno-humanist ideology in RimWorld is excellent. Like, it's extremely powerful, like, being able to do the age reversal and that way faster than other ones. The fact that, like, you're going to have to augment so many of the parts of the colonists by the fact they're just going to get injured and you want to improve them and fix them and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's a thing that's going to happen. It's just they kind of pressure you to do it much faster. Tribal techno-humanists is a bad combination. No. It's a challenging combination. Here's a thought. Techno-humanist tribal, but doing an Arco-Nexus. That way you're resetting regularly and having to re-research everything while your colonists are very quickly melting down because they can't get their neurocharge. That might be the hardest playthrough. The hardest playthrough I could think of. Ice Sheet, Tribal, Techno-Humanist, Arco-Nexus run. You don't need, like, the raids, you could disable raids, and you would still be trying to keep that place from just catching fire and imploding. Chrono, yes. First aid is one of the worst skills to try and max out. It's also a skill that is, in my opinion, not worth leveling at all. Because there's like 2 or 3 things that first aid does. The big one is you heal faster. Like, when you bandage stuff up, you can heal a little faster. The second thing it does is actually informational, that, like, for example, if you get a deep wound and you stitch it closed, it'll let you know when it's time to take the stitches out. Versus beforehand, just kind of have to wait and be like, alright, I guess I just take the stitches out and hope for the best. Ascendant Cook says, and add to that, tree huggers and rock lovers can never mine or cut trees. I believe Ice Sheet, without being able to cut or to mine or cut trees, isn't possible. Like, you won't have to worry about cutting trees. But usually the way you start Ice Sheet is you either find a geyser and you build a tiny little box around it with a door and you leave the door open. So your character can go in and just not, you know, not freeze to death, or you have to like immediately carve into a mountain as fast as possible, a couple of blocks, and just slap a door down behind you. But if you can't cut rocks, or you can't mine rather, then yeah. Ice Sheet with like forbidden human meat is probably not possible. Now Ice Sheet with like abhorrent cannibalism, that's probably possible, and you just have to deal with it. It also tells you the severity of the wounds. Oh yeah, whether it's a scratch, a moderate scratch, and all that. Yep. So it's got informational. It's just the issue you run into when it comes to leveling first aid is like, okay, the huge advantage of first aid is you heal faster, so that you spend less time injured, so that you can keep doing more of whatever it is you need to keep doing. Now the problem is, the only way to level first aid is for you or other players to be injured. Which means the thing you're trying to prevent is the thing you have to do the thing you're trying to prevent. So that's where I'm like, it just, to me, first aid is a useless skill right now. And as long as you're not playing fast, loose, and reckless, about the only first aid you end up doing is injuries from zombies. And just, statistically speaking, you know, you're going to lose that draw with the zombies very quickly. There is a profession that I believe I think there's actually two that start with some first aid. I think one might actually have a bonus to leveling first aid. But yeah, none of the characters get max anything when you start. Like, doing a repairman doesn't give you max maintenance, being a lumberjack doesn't give you max axes, or anything like that. And like, there's not some combination of traits that you can do that either. You always have at least some points you can level. But for me personally, when it comes to like first aid, even if there was like, this is the doctor. Yep. Injuries your own hand to train. Yeah. Like that's like the two go-tos for training first aid is one, you leave broken glass on the floor, you take your shoes off, and you walk through said broken glass to, you know, give yourself deep wounds on your feet. And then you proceed to stitch them and bandage them up and medical them back up to health, only to immediately turn around and walk back on the broken glass again. Or you take off a bunch of your clothes, you smash a window but don't remove the glass, and you just keep jumping back and forth through the windows till you're all cut up and, you know, like bloodied up and everything. And then you bandage yourself up, suture your deep wounds and all that. And, you know, wait till you're not injured anymore. But the problem with those strategies is, if you do the first, or if you do the one with the windows where you jump through and you do that, well, when you injure your hands and all that, you're less effective at fighting until you're better. So that can be legitimately dangerous for you trying to fight zombies. And it's just like a whole thing. So generally saying, if you're playing solo, first aid has basically no value to you. Like, leveling it up is just, you do it just because you want to see big number. How long you get max level from this? The first aid, or what we're doing? Like, I'm missing context, sorry. Send your cookie. Big number, go brrr. Yep, there are two VHSs that will give you some first aid, so like, those will help. If you are saying how long to level first aid, I mean, you're gonna take in-game months of grinding first aid. Like, it is an extremely slow leveling skill. I think about the only skills that would probably level slower than first aid are nimble, strength, and fitness. I can't think of anything else that levels slower. Because part of it is you injure yourself and you basically have to wait until you've recovered enough to make new injuries. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, not even worth it all. Like, that's the thing. The only time first aid has value is when you get injured. But to gain that value, you have to get injured. Like, that's just not what you want. The thing you're trying to prevent is the expense of the thing you're trying to prevent. Now, I will say, as a caveat, there can be value in first aid in multiplayer, but even then it's pretty nuanced. Like, I would imagine the only way you really, Oh, yeah. And if you really wanted to grind up 10 first aid, that would be what you'd do, is you'd get, you know, you and a bunch of people who are like, yeah, you're going to be the doctor, we'll help you farm it. And just, like, get 5 or 6 of them or whatever. You know, you just have them all take turns jumping through, walking on glass, hopping through windows, and just, like, do a rotation of bandaging them up. That's exactly what it's saying. Kuro is just have them take turns jumping on glass, and either get enough people that you can just keep the rotation going, or you just make it a thing that like once a day you go through the process or whatever. And even then it'd probably be super tedious. And that you're kind of, you know, you're keeping 4, 5, 6, however many people with you, all spending their time helping you support leveling that. Alright, we got our spear. Always good. I remember when we had to clear the horse obstacle course. Like, it's not rodeo. I don't know what the technical term is for where like the horses do. I know people said it during that, but you know, it's a word I've used like once in my entire life, so bear with me if it didn't stick. I accidentally took that person's underwear and I really didn't want it. Did I take the underwear? I don't think I did take the underwear. There's by the country club. Dressage. That's right. That's the word. Yes. I remember clearing the dressage of zombies by the country club. Nope. Nope, Raffins. You can never cure zombification. The only way you can cure zombification is if you install mods that make cures for zombification, at which point you're effectively playing a different game. Which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. But then you're playing a different game. Sergeant? Probably. They've already announced that the next big update will involve animal husbandry. And while the first version, they did say the animals are going to be dumb, even by comparison to animals. So, like, they were saying, you know, basically the cows are going to be extra levels of stupid in the very first version. They'll probably come later. And that's just because they're implementing a new crafting system that's going to be way more depth. But, I'll have to look in a second. That's going to have way more depth, and they're like, but we have to have leather, which means we have to have something that gives you leather. Okay, I guess we're doing animals. Let me play catch up. Totally. Rare Day says the second syllable sounds like Sauge, like Sarge, but with a W instead of an R. Huh? Oh, dressage? Dressage? Okay. I'll probably have to, like, look up the... Dressage? I'll have to, like, pull up, you know, they have the things where it's, like, a person just saying dressage, or whatever. Like, it's just the person saying the word. Because I'm having problems putting that together in my head, sorry. Kuno says, blacksmith seems reasonable. Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff we're curious. Yeah, or I could just ask my wife. Because she knows about that stuff. Because I remember we were discussing it, my wife was like, that's the word we're talking about right now. It's like, oh, okay, thank you. She knows a thing or two about animals. Like, when you hear me give, like, random animal facts and all that, she's probably the source. Like, for example, one way that we keep elephants in different parts of the world from, like, tearing up people's farms and trampling stuff as they pass through kind of stuff, is that we use things that sound like bees. Because elephants are deathly afraid of bees. They just do not like bees. Because apparently elephants have very sensitive skin, surprisingly. So when you see, like, farms out in, like, Africa and all that trying to protect their farms from the elephants, a lot of them will actually have just speakers that are on them. Like you'd have, like, a wire for, like, an alarm system. It's the same idea, except the sound of bees. And, like, it's just... I find it funny because, like, for those familiar with the Onion News, they had this one joke that was like, you know, it's like some article that was talking about, like, 3 full-grown men run away from, you know, 1 ounce bee, whatever. It's just, you know, it's the one of those things that you comically think about. And then, you know, you think about the elephant being even more extreme of just this absolutely ridiculously large animal, and they're like, and yet, bees. They're just like, nope. Bees, I'm out. This is a solid no-go zone for this elephant. Yeah. So that's one of the things... Demon Scythe. My cover is blown. I too fear bees. But, we're like... As someone who gardens, the relationship with hornets and wasps is a very complicated one, because one, I do not like hornets and wasps. They seem to be just so easy to anger, and they get extra stingy when they're angry. At the same time, they're really good at getting rid of a lot of pests out of your garden, and it is a very mixed bag relationship. Because in one, you're like, hell no, I don't want these around. At the same time, you're also like, but they're killing the pests that are eating my plants, and so I kind of do want them around. And I can't have both. So as you can see, I quickly got into position, stood on that zombie, took them out of the fight. That way I could fight with ease. And the position was standing on the zombie, so it was kept out of the fight, so I could fight the other zombie without having to worry about it. Because having the fence in the back is probably not a great strategy. It means backing up is dangerous. And while you can jump the fences to get away from zombies, one thing to be careful is if you wait too long, the zombie will grab you trying to jump over the fence. Elgosa says, just get house centipedes like I have in my house. No pests, and my only price is that I have to see terrifying eldritch horror scurrying across the ceiling every once in a while. Yeesh. No thank you. Especially since a lot of centipedes are, like, really poisonous. Wait, was that millipedes? I always mix them up. One of the two of them is usually very poisonous, and then the other one's not that big a deal. Or I shouldn't say poisonous, venomous. Poisonous is if you eat them, venomous is if they sting or bite or whatever you... Okay, it says how centipedes aren't like regular centipedes. They don't have the big grabby mouth bits. Excellent. I still don't think I want the eldritch horrors running around my house. That said, I am all cool with the bees. The bees are my friends. They make my plants grow. I like when my plants grow. Okay. Yeah, so you're saying they are venomous, but it's like super mild to the point that, you know, barring some kind of serious allergy or whatever, it's more just a nuisance kind of thing than anything. That's good. Because I do know there's supposed to be some of those that are actually, like, really dangerous. Good to know. Sentry Cookie is saying millipedes are harmless to us, and I won't go into the full details unless you do something as an individual that particularly gains you lots of their... Like, basically, they're not going to hurt you, but you could hurt yourself on them, kind of thing. Centipedes eat roaches and rats. Excellent. Like, that's the thing that's so nice about wasps, is they'll eat stuff like stink bugs, they'll eat all sorts of things like leaf miners and, oh, what's the aphids, those kind of things. And so they're like, alright, cool. And then you're also like, but also wasps, you know. It's like having that jerk neighbor who's actually like really cool about dealing with all sorts of other problems, but then you also have that jerk neighbor. And you're just like, you know, it's like convenient to have you around to help with all this stuff, but you're also kind of a jerk. I know nothing of the different types of centipedes to know anything one way or another about them. I know they do exist here in Florida, because I know I've seen them, but like, you know, if it's this type or that type, if it's dangerous or not dangerous, they're one of those animals I know next to nothing about. Like, I can identify a bunch of stuff like spiders and snakes and all that. Centipedes is just kind of like, look at it, shrug, okay, I'll just stay away from it, I don't know what it is, so whatever. So you've just established, Sentient Cookie, that I have no desire to live in the Midwest then? Because the idea of a creature that's about the size of an arm that looks like some eldritch horror, I'm kindly out. Oh, so that is one thing I miss about living in Michigan. It's like, down here in Florida, we got so many little critters all over the place, you know, all sorts of reptiles and bugs and all that. And I just remember in Michigan, it's like, oh, I saw a mosquito today. Just one mosquito today. Oh no, I saw a sugar ant. And it's just like, down here, it's like you walk outside, like, I've seen the entire like biosphere of pretty much all types of insects I can imagine, and some I couldn't imagine until this moment. I think my entire time living in Michigan, I only saw a singular snake. And like, not counting zoos and all that, of course, but like, just one snake, and it was like the teeniest, tiniest gardener snake. Here in Florida, like, if you walk outside, you can hardly go a day without seeing a snake. And 99% of them are like super chill snakes that they see and they're like, nah, I'm out, man. Like, you're more than 100 times my size, I'm out. Just little indigos and gardeners and all that. Not poisonous, super chill. They just want to eat mice and other little buggy bugs. Now I will say, because Sentient Cookie mentioned water moccasin, that is a snake I will not mess with. Like where most snakes, I just mentioned, it's like most snakes are like super chill. They want nothing to do with you. Water moccasins are the opposite end of the spectrum. They're territorial, they're angry, they're mean, nasty snakes. That they stay where they stay, I stay where I stay. These two things should not be involved with one another. Yeah, they are aggressive snakes. It's like they took all of the aggression of all snake kind, absorbed it from all of the snakes, and just concentrated it into a single type of snake, and that's water moccasins. Rattlesnakes for the most part, as long as you don't surprise them, they'll just kind of coil up and like rattle and they'll be like, you stay away from me. And it's like, alright, I don't want to get bit. I'll just go the other way. That said, I prefer gardener snakes. They're small, they eat mice, they keep all the other pests there. Yeah, tiny green, kind of rust color or black snake. Because kind of the joke down here is you have two choices. You can have snake or you can have rats. I'll take snake. Snake do not eat my wires. Or like get into my food. Goes says, one of the mods in this playthrough turns off vanilla vehicles so every parking lot is filled with school buses and rascal scooters. Oh no. Yeah, Demon Scythe, I wish I could remember what age I was. Because part of me wants to be like when I was a teenager, but I'm not sure if I was a teenager or a tween still. It was somewhere around there, like 12, 13 kind of age range. I remember we had, my grandparents had a place they would go, not as like a proper like vacation home kind of thing, but it was this little place along the water. And we had water moccasins there, and I remember it was a stick with like a little Y on the end of it. And there were times that the water moccasins came out there that he would just go outside, just like, you know, jab the stick down, pin the snake down. And then, you know, there'd be one less water moccasin in the world. But there was like lots of little kids around, so it was just something you had to do, because unfortunately they're very aggressive snakes. Hey, how's it going, kid? Yep. Water moccasins, I think they have like a bunch of names, like water moccasin, cottonmouth. There's another one. But yeah, they're angry, aggressive snakes. Yes, Rockbeard. They are dangerous snakes because they are venomous. Like, they're one of those snakes that you get bit, you seek medical attention. Yep, the difficult thing with anti-venom is you have to identify what type of snake you're dealing with. Using the wrong type of venom on the, like, with that, like if you get bitten by a rattlesnake and use anti-venom for water moccasins, it can be just as dangerous. So it's a whole thing that they like rush you in and they go and they figure all that real fasty. Yeah, we actually had the discussion, not discussion, we like just kind of covered the venomous versus poisonous. The whole, does it, like, is eating it the problem, or is it doing something to you the problem? Oh, my weapon lasting so long? Alright, 1 second, I'll go over that. This is super dangerous right here. Okay. Alright, it was that staircase is the super dangerous part. But that's your maintenance skill. Maintenance decides like how durable your weapons, how long they last kind of thing. So I actually have a lot of maintenance. I think we're at 8 now. But yeah, so maintenance, that's like the big things that kind of carry your run when you're doing these types of runs. Is this nimble skill is extremely useful. It's how fast you move when your weapon is primed and ready. That'll really help you a lot. Maintenance is how long your weapons last. And then these skills here is how fast you kill stuff with your skills. Oh yeah, no, if I took a sledgehammer to destroy the stairs and tossed a rope ladder out, it wouldn't be a bad location. But the bottom of the stairs not so terrible. The top of these stairs in specific, because you can have a zombie up here. And you start climbing the stairs and they just, you know, chuck themselves over the side after you. They can be very dangerous. 1 moment. Sorry. Felt the sneeze coming and wanted to deal with it. Oh, an extra water bottle. Just in case. Danku. So I want to close all these curtains. That way some random zombie doesn't see me wandering around up here. I don't have more places for these curtains. That's fine. I'm not going to worry about taking any of this stuff unless I find something amazing. I doubt it, though. Alright. So. Gotcha. Actually, for a stand-up desk, this is a super sturdy desk. Alright, Rockbeard. You take care. So what are we doing for this? First of all, it is time to update the text in the to-do list. Because we have reached Rosewood. It helps if your hand's in the right position on the keyboard. Alright, so I'm just going to fast forward at the moment, because if I go to sleep right now, what ends up happening is we end up... Oh, Moriarty's doing push-ups, so give me a moment. I'm going to go ahead and get those push-ups. Okay. I'll be right back. One thing I can do in the meantime is I can kill my mic for a moment, and I'm going to eat this food that I'm letting get cold here. But, because we're basically waiting until it's late enough that we won't just... you know, wake up in the middle of the night. How much do you love push-ups? Oh, did I take long enough that you're going to nail me with another set of push-ups? Don't kill the mic. Let's hear it. Oh, hey, Mr. Nice Gamer. You can't stop me, so it's happening. I appreciate it. It's like every time it's like, don't do it. But yeah, Mr. Nice Gamer also plays Project Zomboid. Great stream. Check it out. Drop him a follow. All that good stuff. No problem. So yeah, we are just killing time, letting ourselves get bored, do all that kind of stuff. Waiting till we can go to sleep and wake up when it's not going to be dark. Because we got super tired because we killed a lot of zombies today. And it's okay, we're using rotten ingredients, don't worry about it. Once you get cooking 8, that's not a problem. It's fine. Yep, lots of dead Zeds is a good thing. Okay, so I am going to sit there and, like, drop the speed down a little bit, kill the mic, put up the thing so you don't have to, like, listen to me chomp chomp and all that in the microphone. But I'm going to eat some food real fast while we're waiting for it to be late enough, and I'll be right back. Which is not being meant to mistaken for snack. Okay, so this should be late enough that we go to sleep and we wake up on time and all that.